What is going on, nerds? We have the Andrew Yang for Mayor weekly campaign update. Spoiler, it is getting a little too close for comfort, but we'll go into the data in a second. First, let's warm it up.
There's no place to hide now that he's arrived. I'm saying he ain't playing now with this campaign. Bang, dang, it's and Drew, come roll with the Yang Gang. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up with. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up with. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up. Yo, there's no place to hide now that he's arrived. I'm saying he ain't playing now with this campaign. Bang, dang, it's and Drew, come roll.
Hello, nerds! Nerds for Humanity. We have got our weekly campaign update. Is the Yang gonna win? TLDR, hopefully. I wish I could say for sure. I also need to apologize in advance. I'm gonna try and get this live stream done in the 20 to 30 minute range. It's gonna be a little shorter than normal because Mrs. Nerd has some Singaporean chili pepper crab for dinner, and she does not like it when Mr. Nerd is late for dinner, especially since the whole family is ready to go. But I told her, let me just share a little data before we get this party started, because the freaking race is getting close. So let's share the screen for a second and look at the polling data. Hold on a second. Polling data. Okay, here we go. As you can see, this chart basically indicates the polling from the very beginning of the year till now. And the purple line is our man, Mr. Yang. And as you can see, as you can see here, that purple line had a peak around mid-Feb and has really been on a downward trend from Feb to March to April to May to now. There are certainly polls indicating he's still the leader, but let's be real. That leadership gap is really a little bit concerning, and I think this is when a lot of us heard that Andrew was running for mayor. I think we were like, man, that's gonna be a real tough race, and then we were so excited seeing those early polls, and we're like, oh, maybe it won't be. Well, turns out, yeah, it will. And specifically, you've got Eric Adams in this turquoise color. He's not exactly trending in a perfect direction. This is the Yang one, which is now red when I hover over. Yang, Adams. Look at this. This is old Stringer. And surprisingly, you would have thought he would have just, taken a big dump and left the contest, given all of the controversies around his treatment of women, and it turns out that old Stringer is not really ready to go anywhere. Here is Catherine Garcia. Now here was really interesting because she got that New York Times endorsement, but it looks like that endorsement has sort of worn off, and it's not really doing much more. Now look at this. The other line, this black line, has actually improved more than any other candidate. Just no one. So net, you've got a disturbing trend for Yang here. You've got a stubborn Adams really nipping at the heels of Yang. And then you've got a Stringer who we thought was sort of a done deal, put a fork in him. Not true. Stringer is hanging on. And then Garcia, maybe we thought last week that she was going to potentially leapfrog the Stringer and be the new number 3. Doesn't seem to be happening, at least not this week. And here's the latest example. This is the Public Opinion Strategy Survey or poll. And, the margin of error is plus or minus 4%. So you see here, Yang has got 22% saying he's number 1. But you know what? Eric Adams has 21% saying he's number 1. So that is not that's basically they're tied, right? So, and if you look at the Emerson College poll from May 13 to 15, you have Andrew Yang getting 15% to Adams 18%. So you have Adams actually ahead of the Yang according to the Emerson College one. And then you have the Change Research one, which I think we covered last week on this channel, where you've got Yang at 18 and Adams at 21. So I know that since then the Yang campaign has released some of their private polling, so showing that that he's still number 1, but I'm sure no one would make the argument that this is the chart you want just a few weeks from the election. This is going to be, at the same time. Now let's be realistic. We don't need to be alarmist here. At the same time, if you didn't want to be the purple line, does that really mean you'd rather be the turquoise line? I don't know. I'm not sure if the Adams line is that much better. The Stringer line, could be interesting, but you might maybe wait a week to see if this is is this the beginning of a trend where Stringer actually pulls past? And then, of course, you have, look at this one. Who is this? Donovan? What is that? Is that Donovan? Oh, no, that must be undecided, the light gray. Yeah, undecided. That is certainly coming down, so people are starting to make up their minds. But, even undecided, there are almost as many people supporting Stringer as there are undecided. So, I would say this race is to be determined. I don't know if you guys agree, but it will be interesting to see. Okay, so that is a summary of the polls. If I had to, for those of you who are just joining, what's the TLDR on the polls? Look, not looking good. Trending in the wrong direction. Still leading, but you're kind of losing. The gap is actually getting smaller. It's tightening up. Would you rather be Adams or Stringer or Garcia? No. I think any of those top, certainly Adams and Yang, you could flip a coin. And frankly, if we want to keep it real here, let's be real, guys. Let's be real. This purple line is not the one you'd want to be, right? This purple one, look at this. From March, there was a point where bro was over 26%. And here's an even one, a better one for those supporting a candidate. So if we take out the undecideds, this purple line here is the Yang, which I'm going to make red. Guys, that's like some crazy Dogecoin chart from the last couple weeks, right? This is not what you want to be. Is this red line that much better? No, not much better. But you know what? I might argue I'd rather be Adams right now, because at least my overall trend is flat to slightly up. And then this greenie, which is Stringer, is not a terrible trend either. This purple one, which I'm going to make red now, is probably the most unhealthy looking one. Now, you could argue, well, you know, that's what happens when you're the front runner in February and they're just going to chip away at you and all the media is going to want to cover that. So maybe that's true. And maybe if someone else takes the lead, the media will attack them. I think this is where timing really matters, right? Everybody? This is when they say you don't want to peak too early. This is why. Now, let's look at some other data, because the charts are not the only thing in terms of the polls. Here you have news coverage, how Yang won over the ultra-Orthodox. This is something about Yang struggled to name a Jay-Z song during his Z-Way interview. Maybe he didn't want to say the name of the song that's in Paris. I don't know. Yang fumbles on key issues as race for mayor gets more competitive. That's on Politico. De Blasio says successor better damn well understand NYC. I don't know if being criticized by de Blasio is a bad thing, but it's certainly not good press for Yang. Yang walks back stance on Israel. We did a whole live stream about that. So let's see, what is this accused fumbling? Oh, we have a super chat from Prad Agarum. Let's see, let's add that here. How much of an impact do you think the negative articles have? If you Google Yang, you see more negative than positive. I think that's true. By the way, thank you for the super chat. It goes to supporting continued creation of this Nerds content. So I do think these headlines are not helping him. Obviously, so we looked at, let's look at this. We look at the first 5 stories. Okay, one is positive, how he won over ultra-Orthodox Brooklyn. Now, you could argue that in certain neighborhoods, that's a negative story, because maybe it aligns him too closely with the whole pro-Israel tweet thing. Then you have this one, that's negative. So that's 1 positive, kind of, 1 negative. Now 1 positive, 2 negative, fumbling on issues. 1 positive, 3 negative, better damn well understand. 1 positive, 4 negatives, walks back stance. 1 positive, 5 negative, accused of cheating, right? Oh, here's a 6 negative, no answers on MTA. 7th negative, Republicans cheer on Andrew Yang. So, thank you, Pradi. Thank you, Pradi. I apologize for butchering your name. My bad. But thank you for the super chat. And I agree with you. These negative stories are not happening. Now, let's see if there's similar coverage for Eric Adams. Maybe all of his stuff is negative too. Like, we have to compare. And here's Eric Adams. Okay, so first story. Adams denounces attack on Jewish man. That's probably positive. Yang plummets. Adams leads. That's definitely positive. Stringer and Adams face accusations. Ooh, only 1 has been urged to quit. I would have to say that's a negative. Thank you, Elizabeth Norris. Elizabeth Norris is pointing out that we need some support for this live stream, so more than 10 people get the data. Let's look at the negative one. Adams accepts endorsement from Jewish press. That's positive. Adams mixed money and political ambition. That's negative. Republican pass fuels attacks on Adams. Negative. New York Post says Adams should be New York's next mayor. Very positive. Adams has something to prove, mixed. So, and then Yang accuses each other of campaign finance. So I would say with Adams, it wasn't like a walk in the park, but it was probably like 50-50. Whereas I think the Yang coverage, I don't know if you would call this 50-50. Dear God, Yang's face when asked to name favorite Jay-Z songs, fumbles on city issues, better damn well understand New York, walks back. accusations of cheating, no answers. So, I think that basically demonstrates the headwind that Yang is encountering with the media coverage. Now, if you look at social media, DRS Metal, I agree with you that the progressives are not, we talked a little bit about this on last week's stream. I do not think that was a good move on Yang's part. It could end up still being okay if the influence on the Jewish vote is sufficient to make up for all the crap he took, but we'll have to see. Here's the Twitter coverage. Twitter followers, you see Yang still way in the lead, but he's been losing followers ever since that Israeli tweet. Again, this is national followers. We don't have it by New York only, but for sure, just in one day, he did lose damn near close to 10,000 followers. Oh, we have another super chat from Warren. He says, when will Yang's PAC start blasting ads about Adams? Well, now would be a good time, in my opinion. I'm guessing they want to kind of keep their powder dry and have one big ass campaign. Maybe that's the argument. I don't know, but certainly, thanks again, Warren. Certainly now is a great time to start turning things around. So that's Twitter. Let's look next at Google search trends. Before we do that, I do want to give a quick thank you to the people who make this this channel possible. So let me pull up our channel members, and we're going to start with our most senior vice presidents, our strongest supporter, which is Soldier One. So Soldier One, thank you so much for everything you do to make this channel possible. And for those of you watching this who aren't yet members and maybe have thought about it, now's a great time, especially as the Nerds audience is not exactly as huge as it was during the presidential campaign. Trumper for Yang Podcasts says, hey, Adams has the strength of mainstream media, DNC. Can't beat this machine from the inside. I do not like being right on this one, but I am. Let Andrew be Andrew. Welcome back, Dennis. Good to see you, buddy. All right, so let's, again, let me just give a quick thank you to Soldier One, who is our biggest supporter. Thank you, Soldier One. Okay, next, let's go to our VPs, and we will sort them by our oldest, most loyal viewers. VLAM, JM Sat, Fat Lamb, Kristen Slevin, Laura Lane, Patrick Dunn, Richard Johnson, Bike, and Mindful Skeptics. So thank you to all of you for making this possible. And Mindful Skeptics has a podcast, so go subscribe to Mindful Skeptics when you get a chance. Then we have our hardcore, which are... Oh, I got to move my face out of this. Hold on. Move it. Here we go. Okay. Mike Chang, Gene Lim, David, Tracy, DK, Phoenix, Jekkalego, Kirsch, Mr. History, Byron, Mona, Susan, Yang, Deng, Tony, Robert, Dean, Stat Nerd, Galessa, Jay Perrin, Jay Bryan, Vivian, Dana, Flavio, Yoda, Jason, and Parth. And then our largest contingency, the entry-level nerds, still much appreciated for your monthly support. Helen, Lisa, Sugar, Albert, Brandon, Yes, Brian, Peter, Arez, your mom, Sophia, Jedwiga, Gail, Shake, Mike, Doris, Emerald, Lori, Ben, Roger, Lisa, Christina, Vaughn, Rasta, Jessica, Elizabeth, James, Jalopy, Emma, Hui, Stephen, Ira, Spirited, Shoni, Philip, Jameson, Doctor, William, Karen, Monica, A, Mai, Ardent, Semery, David, Brittany, Clyde, Sasha, Warren, Reddy, and Lukey Monster. And our newest members, fresh into the nerd zone overall are Lukey Monster and Parth Patel. Lukey Monster and Parth Patel. All right, now let's go on to Google search trends. And hello, Fred the Felon is in the house. Long time no see, Fred. Been too long, my friend. All right. So are people still searching for Yang? They are, but if you look at the last, say, 90 days, look at all of the interest in Yang was way above all of the other dudes. Oh, rats. Let me move my head. Tom, get your big nerd head out of here. Okay. The blue was considerably above all the others, but now that's the past 90 days. Now you look at the past 7 days. Where's the blue now? Kind of mixed in. And there were certainly days where old, looks like Stringer got a lot of search activity. And who's this yellow? Eric Adams as well. So what are they searching for when they search for Andrew Yang? Buzzy Cohen, Brandon Smith, Z-Way, Paperboy, Love, Prince, Andrew Yang fundraising. When they search for Scott Stringer, it's about Benjamin Bridgentunnel, Anthony Herbert, Andrew Giuliani, Isaac Wright Jr., and Buzzy Cohen. When they search for Eric Adams, they're looking at Letitia James, Raymond McGuire, Eric Garner, Andrew Giuliani, Benjamin Netanyahu. Interesting. And then Maya Wiley, they're looking for Hakeem Jeffries, Andrew Giuliani, Shirley Chisholm, Isaac Wright, Andrew Cuomo. I think the main thing here is that this trend indicates a little bit of a softening of search activity. And this is just limited to people in New York, New York. This is not national search activity. So this is really what New Yorkers are searching for. And if we say in the last day, let's see here, really packed in other than, there was a lot of search activity just in the last hour. I wonder what that's all about. Let's say past hour. Interesting. Around 7:05. A lot of people were searching for Yang and his net worth. Not sure what that's all about. If you guys know in the comments or in the chat, help me understand what just happened in the last hour, because I was busy picking up chili crab for the nerd dinner. Okay. Next, we're going to look at what Andrew is tweeting about. Okay, here's Andrew. This is the feed of the man who is struggling right now to bust open his lead, and he's more kind of defending it. He's got a new ad that he pushed out on May 17th. Let's go ahead and watch that together. Hold on. Hopefully you're going to get the audio. Otherwise, that would suck.
There is so much pointless suffering in New York City, and it breaks my heart. I'm Andrew Yang. I'm running for mayor of New York City. We need direct cash relief because no one should go hungry in our city. We need to get schools open so kids can learn and parents can get back to work. We need a people's bank because it should not be so expensive to be poor.
People need money, and communities like this need to stop suffering.
We need new leadership that's a break from the politics of the past that have been dragging us down. Paid for by Yang for New York.
All right. So that ad, I would describe it as a combination of, hey man, I've got a bunch of new ideas. I'm a fresh voice, and I care about you. That might be, I mean, that feels like the ad of a front runner. And that might be appropriate because he is, you know, he doesn't need to go do any kind of desperate moves. We'll see how that goes. He was in the Chinatown arcade with Evelyn and the kids. He met home care workers in Flushing with Ron Kim, who was, by the way, Ron Kim was on the Nerds channel. We had a great interview with him. If you want to check it out, just look at the nerdsforhumanity.com, which will take you to our YouTube channel. Let's see. Justice for home care workers. I'm committed to ending the 24-hour workday. Roundtable discussion. Bronx. You know. Nothing super controversial. So I guess it's good. He's not tweeting about Israel or Hamas, which is fantastic. But again, I cannot, guys, I can't stop thinking about this effing chart, right? This is not the chart we want. This is the wrong chart. This is the wrong chart. Okay? You don't want to be this purple one. God, I hope we turn things around next week. All right. So we did search. We did. Oh, you guys want to do betting odds? Let's do what do the gamblers think? So maybe the gamblers are saying, hey, don't worry, don't freak out. The gamblers are not maybe overreading into these polls. Let's see. By the way, please remember to like and share. If you are going to donate to Andrew, use this shortcut, tinyurl.com/nerds NYC, url.com/nerds-NYC, trying to help get this man back into the nerd zone and show that we are a channel that can help increase awareness. So that's that. What do the gamblers say? Let's take a look, shall we? Gamblers, what do you say? Bam! The gamblers are saying this is neck and neck. The gamblers are saying for the first time ever, that Sugar Sweet saying your tiny URL is confusing. I'll put it in the chat. Hold on. tinyurl.com/nerds-NYC. Yeah, it is probably confusing, but sorry about that, guys. Hold on. I'll also have it persist for just a little bit longer so you guys can remember it. All right. I'm not going to make it too obnoxious. There we go. All right, let's go back to the this, guys. The gamblers think, they basically are saying that Eric Adams and Andrew Yang, they're going to pay even money on the same odds on both. And they also are giving Garcia a little bit more chance than before. And even Scott Stringer has kind of turned it around. We used to be worried about Wiley kind of surging. I don't think that's happening. So I think it's really all about Yang versus Adams, Adams versus Yang. I gotta move my face here so you guys aren't seeing too much overlap of face. All right. So that's basically, that's what it comes down to, folks. And that means, this little down arrow means that Yang's odds have gotten worse, and Adams' odds have gotten slightly better. So that's that. All right. I wish you know, I love the Yang, and nothing would make me happier than if he were mayor. But this channel, we have to keep it real. This is all about data. And the data is that Eric Adams has just as much a chance to become mayor as Andrew Yang, unless we all kind of load up on the Yang donations and calling and texting and volunteering, because this chart ain't going to change itself, bros. Ain't going to change itself. Okay? That purple line needs to freaking turn around pronto. Pronto. All right? So, all right, next. I'm going to take some audience questions in a second. Before I do that, I do want to give a shout out to the people that are fighting, in addition to Andrew Yang, fighting for basic income. and trying to put themselves out there, running for office. We should just keep my face always on the bottom right. Okay, here we go. Putting themselves out there, trying to increase awareness for basic income. So we're not relying only on Andrew Yang to be the only person speaking for UBI. And the top UBI candidates on ofthepeople.us, which, as many of you know, is a nonprofit project that I am a co-founder of thepeople.us. Okay. Who are the most? Now, this ranking, it used to be ranked by whoever added their profile last when we were just only a few candidates. But now that we have like a little bit more action, this is ranked based on approval voting. So if those of you who like approval voting, go to ofthepeople.us, click on candidates, and just favorite whoever you approve of. You have to sign in. You can use your Google account or you can use email and password. And then just hit favorite for anybody who you approve of. And then it will be ordered based on the highest approval rating across all of the OTP users. And right now, within the candidates that are supportive of basic income, our leader is Ali Dalsimer, who was actually on the Nerds channel before. Ali Dalsimer, congratulations. You are currently in the lead. And tomorrow, if you're still in the lead, we're going to have $500 in cash prizes for the top, divided between the top 3 candidates, who are currently Ali Dalsimer, Austin Searle, and Sass. Now, if the next candidates move up in the next 24 hours, they could win the cash prize, which would be Michael Swanson, Christy Seelock, Steve Cox. Oh, wait a minute. I need to filter this by UBI because some of those aren't clearly UBI. Okay, here's the top 3. Ali Dalsimer, Austin Searle, Michael Swanson. Ooh, those are the top 3. Michael Swanson just moved up because I think yesterday he was number 4. So Christy Seelock is now number 4, and Sass has dropped to number 5. So that's interesting. Wow, this is moving. Then you've got Jesse Phillips, who was just on the Nerd Show this morning as, I think, number 6. Erica Smith, number 7. And Erica Rhodes, number 8. Badrun Khan, Eric Storzand, Ryan Stark, Alan Ellison, Sheridan Lund, and Liam O'Mara in that order. So right now our top 3 are Ali Dalsimer, Austin Searle, and Michael Swanson. If you think there should be a different order and you haven't yet, go ahead, go into OTP of thepeople.us and favorite who you like. So with that, now I'm going to do some Ask Me Anything. So we're going to go, if you have any questions, now is the time before I go have some pepper crab. You guys ever have pepper crab? Ooh, I'm like disappearing in the screen. I need to change my settings. So go ahead and put it in the chat while I adjust some of these settings. And if you have a question for me, I swear to you, I will give you an honest answer. And I will not, ooh, look at that. I will not BS you, okay? Even though I like the Yang, I will not BS you. Okay, here's the first. Let's see the first question. Oh, I got a super chat from Warren. We gotta hit the super chat first, right? If you were AOC who supported Garcia, who's number 2? AOC would definitely not put Yang as number 2. I would imagine she might like the Wiley. So that would be my guess, Warren. But AOC and Yang are, I don't know, man. They're just not feeling it. She's not feeling the Yang energy. Maybe someday they'll become amazing, great friends. And if anybody can pull it off, it'd be Yang to kind of win people over. But He hasn't done it. Let's see if there's another question. Dennis. Tom, please answer honestly. You know I will, bro. You know I will. I don't even know what this thing's about to ask. I guarantee you I will give you the honest answer. Would you feel better walking in NYC if the NYPD had stop and frisk power? I think I would feel better as someone walking in the street that day, maybe as a tourist. But if I lived in New York and the NYPD was sort of having permanent and aggressive use of stop and frisk, then I would not feel safer. I would feel like, ooh, this police department is kind of becoming too powerful, and we're putting too much kind of power in the hands of that individual officer. Now, I might be more open personally to, let's just call it, more latitude for police officers if there were an automatic review of any major action. So if they did do a stop and frisk, then I would want them to, on video, show why did they choose to stop and frisk this individual, and maybe use data to understand if there's any demographic kind of bias to who they're choosing. Or if there were clear signs that, oh, well, because of these reasons, this person was a candidate for stop and frisk. Okay. Let's see. Muse is saying stop and frisk has been historically used to harass people. I'll tell you what I will say about the NYPD, and this is probably not popular with a lot of progressives. I would actually increase funding for NYPD. I would do the opposite of defunding the police. I would increase funding for the police, but I would have it tied to measurable outcomes, and one of those outcomes would be customer satisfaction. So do the people living in the neighborhoods that you're policing feel like you're doing a professional job? And if those ratings go down, then people start getting fired. And if the ratings go up and people are like, yeah, the police are doing a great job, then maybe we could increase funding even more. Okay, let's see. I think I heard Andrew yelling, "Hello, nerds." Did you guys hear him yelling? Oh, yeah, he did, because we had another super chat. Is there enough Yang outreach to Hispanics and blacks? You know, it's interesting. I mean, certainly a lot of us were excited when MLK Jr. was like named a co-chair of the campaign. I don't think that has really panned out much beyond the announcement. You would think that the ability of basic income to be a game changer for many in the black community would have earned him a lot of support. And then in terms of Hispanics, you know, we did see Carlos Menchaca. You know, there are definitely Hispanics supporting Yang. Can he do more? Probably. But, you know, he only has 24 hours in the day, right? And so he may not be able to win over every group. So there's probably some calculation being made around like, well, how much more effort do I need to win over, let's say, more of the Jewish vote? Or how much more effort do I need to win over more of the Asian vote? Or how much more effort do I need to win over more of the white vote? And it could be that maybe the black and Hispanic vote, through polling, I presume, maybe they're all locked in, or they're more locked in. So I'm not privy to any of that data, but I would imagine, you know, you really can't, you can't really rule that out. Okay. Fred the Felon is saying stop and frisk is a power grab. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I've been watching a lot of videos lately around on YouTube of police body cam video. And it is very interesting how when a policeman pulls over another policeman, especially if it's, as an example, like a DUI, the policeman that is pulled over and being investigated for potentially driving under the influence never consents to a field sobriety test, never consents to a field breathalyzer test. Which then makes you wonder, like, is the law enforcement system set up to protect the interests of the accused? You know, because you are presumed innocent, in you know, that's the whole bedrock of the American judicial system, right? So yeah, I think Fred's point about, well, how much more power do you want to give these guys? I'm not sure. Question from Jamie. What happens to Yang if he loses? Would it lessen his chances? Well, this is what a lot of us debated. And, oh, what's that? Is Dennis saying I told you so? This was a calculated risk. But to answer your question, I think if he loses, it is generally a net negative than had he taken a small cabinet role in the Biden administration, or even if he had just stayed on CNN and amped up Humanity Forward. However, Yang's no dummy. I'm guessing it was also a calculated risk of, but what if he won? Because if he wins mayorship and he does a good job, it dramatically improves his chances in a subsequent presidential election. Probably not 2024, but maybe 2028. So, you know, that was probably a calculation. And, you know, life is all about making choices. So it's never really obvious. Fred the Felon, what do you think about the recent crypto crash? Great question. And I'm probably about to become very unpopular with many in the Yang Gang, because I know a lot of people in the Yang Gang are big fans of crypto. And I am in the older generation. So my general view on crypto is I prefer assets that have a longer track record. And it is not often in investing history where a new asset class emerges. That happens sort of once in a kind of generation, right? Is this the one? You know, maybe it's once every 3 or 4 generations, frankly. I don't know. But like Dogecoin, all that stuff, if you're investing it because you have a large portfolio and only a small percentage of your net worth is tied up in crypto, then sure, why not? It's like investing in a startup. It's really risky. It's never been done before, you know, in terms of whatever this startup is doing, or is this cryptocurrency. Give it a chance. Now, I do see on Twitter some people putting like more than 5% of their net worth into it. And in that case, I would say like, hey man, I know it's not sexy, but if you had bought in to index funds, real estate, over the long run, the nerd for humanity is saying you'd probably be okay. Now, if you put a shit ton of money into crypto, you either could be enormously wealthy later, or it could all go away. And the other thing is, like, you don't really have any gains in anything, stock, crypto, property, otherwise, until you sell it. So even if, in theory, on paper, you've made a lot of money, you know, if it then goes down before you can dump it, then you're kind of stuck. So my advice, I'm not here to give financial advice, but my general feeling about finances is diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, and take money off the table if you have like a good run. Okay. Let's see if there's any other questions. Oh, Dennis and I agree on something. Customer satisfaction. Well, I'm glad, Dennis. See that? You and I can agree. I know you have a weakness for AR-15s, and I guess you don't care about reliability, but you like having lots of accessories. That's fine. That's fine. There are some who do believe in proven things. Maybe the AR-15 is kind of like the crypto. It's probably a little better than the crypto, but you know what I'm talking about. All right. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Muse is saying, well, the black community has historically been extremely progressive and leftist. Yeah, that's probably true. And you would think, you would hope that basic income would really resonate, but, you know, it hasn't. Towers Fire saying, park your truck, Fred, in Queens. Stat Nerd is saying that Adams has been focusing on blacks. White, Yang's winning the white vote, losing the black vote. And then Hispanic, ooh, Yang's doing better with Hispanics and way better with Asians. Thank you for sharing that, Stat Nerd. Much appreciated. All right, let's see if I think. Ooh, age tri-tip. Very nice. Little dry aged red meat never hurt. Oh, American Jobs Factory. I'm on the ground. What do you want Yang to answer? Hey, ask him when he's going back on the Nerd Show or on other Yang Gang YouTube channels, including American Jobs Factory. I suspect if I were Yang's campaign advisor, I would say, like, look, man, the risk is you go on the Yang Gang media, the Yang tubers, and you say something crazy and it creates another controversy. And then on the plus side, you might fire up your supporters again, but will they donate? Will they volunteer? Or are they all tuckered out? So that's why I'm not shocked that Yang isn't running back to the Nerd Zone. Although I would still love to have him here. Like, my dream interview with Yang right now would be to look at 5 charts that describe some of the complexity of the challenges facing New York City and really nerd out on data visualization. That would be amazing. So if you want to see Yang back in the Nerd Zone, go ahead and tweet at him. I actually have a tweet out there with me asking him to come back on. So if you could find that and retweet it, or you could start a new thread. Would love to have him on. I don't think we're going to be able to do it, but you never know. If enough Yang Gang ask, maybe he'll make it happen. And Andrew, if you're listening, I'm happy to do it as a pre-recorded interview, and then your team can review it before I publish. I'm not here to do a hit piece. Just want to have a fun nerd conversation. All right. Does Brandon get $1 for this? No, because Brandon's not here, Sugar Sweet. If Brandon were here helping, he would. But what's he doing right now? He's about 10 feet on the other side of this wall watching freaking The Hobbit with Mordor and the fuck? Excuse me. What is the name? Wherever the hobbits live. Man, something End, not Land's End, whatever. But he's watching The Hobbit. Harry's saying, it seems like Yang had a lot of damages self-inflicted. I think he does listen to Jay-Z, man. You don't grow up in the 90s and 2000s and not be able to name a Jay-Z song. I think he was maybe worried that he would say the wrong name. Because a lot of people know songs, but they don't know the names of the songs. I don't know. And seriously, like, is naming a Jay-Z song now like a requirement to be mayor? Marvin, do you think polls are underestimating Yang like they were for Trump? I don't think polls were underestimating Trump. They had him only behind Clinton by 3 points the week before the election. B, I don't think they're underestimating support for Yang. The only mystery is, will the Asian American voters in New York come out in massive numbers in a way that is unprecedented? And I don't know if the data is available, but we would probably know if Asian American registrations were up. But if the Asian American registrations were up and then Yang can turn these guys out, that could show, like, probably would not be reflected in some of the polling we're seeing. Elizabeth had chicken and salad for dinner. I had chicken and kale and hummus for lunch. But tonight it will be pepper crab. Okay. Fred the Felon agrees with me that AKs are far more reliable than AR-15s. And I think history has proven that. I mean, if an AR-15, if it is like in the same room as a speck of dust, it will jam. I think that's like a known thing. But they do look very nice. They do look nice. So they're very good to kind of look at. But would you want one in a combat situation? If you want to go fancy, I would go with the Tavor. All right. Request a duet with Ching and Andrew. I think that's a thing for American Jobs Factory. Okay, I think we are done with the questions. Yeah, Yoon Jae is saying no, he thinks the polls are accurate. We need to get people to the polls. Yep. Oh, very active chat room here. Why do you think he's a feud? I'm not sure what that's about. Muse. Harry thinks, I think Stringer will divide the Yang voters. Oh, really? Huh. I kind of feel like Yang voters are pretty, like, if you're pro-Yang, you're not really going to look at other people. Sugar Sweet says, Yang has 99 problems, but not knowing Jay-Z's song ain't one. Very impressive. Very impressive. And Brittany was also acknowledging some clever choice of words there. Stat Nerd saying, in 2013, I love Stat Nerd. Stat Nerd, we may have to get you on the show. I know you're already a member. We may need to get you on the show as a guest to bring some of this data. So DM me on Twitter if you're interested. In 2013, Asians were 5% of the primary voters. Oh, the delay is too freaking short. There we go. But 14% of Democrats, so a much larger turnout could make the difference. Yeah, man. They are basically turning out about a third of the time that they should. So if they just turned out as much as the other groups, it would be a massive win for the Youngsters. All right. Yes, Elizabeth Norris is saying Stat Nerd is awesome. So Stat Nerd, we got to get you into the nerd zone. Let me just give you guys a heads up on who else is coming on to this show other than Stat Nerd, who we need to agree on a date and time. But let me just give you a little preview for next week. Oh, no, even better. Tomorrow. Do you guys remember a gentleman by the name of Jonathan Herzog? Bro is going to be on the Nerds channel tomorrow live at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And on replay, if you click that subscribe button, you will be sure to see it. Jonathan Herzog tomorrow. Next week, let's see who we got lined up. Next week we have Peter, the MAGA brother. My brother will be back on the show next week. And maybe Stat Nerd, I can get you on next week as well. And then on June 6th, we have Eric Sanchez, the former comms director for the Yang presidential campaign, and a big supporter of thepeople.us. So a lot of great content coming your way. Before you go, please like and share this stream. Help us make sure there's plenty of people who discover the Nerds channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Consider joining, maybe buying some merch. And most important, go to ofthepeople.us and do the approval voting for your favorite UBI candidates, because we're going to be awarding $500 in prizes to the top 3 candidates. And right now, let's just take another look at who are the top. Oh, did I just get another super chat? Yes. If Yang wins primary, can Michelle Rhee be chancellor? Who knows? Maybe. Oh, Mrs. Nerd is calling me now. Hold on. What's that?
Are we going to have dinner or not? You still haven't come out.
What do we have for dinner? Hello? What's for dinner? Oh, Mrs. Nerd just hung up on me. Mrs. Nerd just hung up on me. Okay, let me do this one last thing. I wanted to highlight the top OTP candidates who are supporting basic income. They are, again, Allie. Shiza. Share. Okay, they are Allie Dalsimer, Austin Searle, and Michael Swanson. Christy Seelock. If you like Vizurant and you want to help her out, all you need to do is favorite her profile, and she'll probably bump up a little, unless you also favorite Michael Swanson, in which case it would probably have neutral effect. And if you like Sass, you want to help him out, favorite his profile. Same with Jesse Philippe, Erica Smith, Erica Rhodes, Badroom Khan, Eric Storzen, Ryan Stark, Alan Ellison, Sharon Lund. So these are all UBI candidates. But right now, Allie, Austin, and Michael are the top dogs, poised to win $500 in prizes. See you later, nerds. Mrs. Nerds is angry. Gotta go have dinner. Love you guys. Let's fade to black.